Hey, we're back. Did you know that HTC can help you out if your computer's acting up, running slow, might have a virus on there, and there's so many different things. I mean, we want to get these crazy, upgrades, and we want to try out the latest, the camera that we have on our computer. We want to do some effects with it because it's kind of cool, and we add these thinking they're safe. But then it's all these add-ons. I just want the one program, and the next thing I know, when I've installed the program, now I've got my home page is different on my browser. I've got little scrolls going across the top. I've got commercials popping up. It's really bizarre. You have to be careful.
That's a very common problem. Usually when you install software, most people click the recommended box or the recommended settings, and they'll just go ahead and install it. And what they don't realize is a lot of the stuff that's coming pre-packaged with that software, like toolbars and other odd-end software that'll let viruses onto your machine as well. That's a very common problem we run across. Once you get those things on there, though, most people don't realize that just actually removing the toolbar doesn't always get rid of everything that it left behind.
Yeah.
Because you can go into like Internet Explorer settings and you can look for things like the search engines that it uses and some of the add-ons and other software that is pre-packaged inside of Internet Explorer. And these installations will add stuff to that allows the machine to behave in a way that you typically don't want it to behave. And that's one thing you have to be careful of when you install software, is you definitely have to look out for that stuff. If you're not feeling comfortable with something, I would recommend not using the recommended settings. Always make sure you go to the custom settings and make sure that you read what it's installing.
Yeah, and even then you have to be careful because they switch the boxes on you. And
that they do. They always try to deceive you with that. I think that's the one thing, and I mentioned this earlier, is that they try to be very deceptive in what they do. Most stuff that happens to your computer happens when you think you're doing something that's perfectly legitimate, that's helping your computer, and really it's not.
How does the email come into play? I mean, are they still trying some scams, phishing, that sort of stuff?
There are. However, email has had a lot of time over the years to develop ways, most email clients that you find and most webmail clients that you find these days are pretty good at filtering out some of the malicious software. Now, they don't always filter out spam software very well, but they definitely do a better job at filtering malicious software.
Sure.
But if you ever see attachments such as PDF files or images from strange places, they can do the same thing. Once you click on those, it allows the stuff to infect your machine, and once it's happened, there's nothing you can do about it other than get the machine cleaned up. It's one of those things that it's difficult to know whether it's safe to click on links or not, and that's because they do such a well job of hiding it. It's one of those things that, again, like I was mentioning earlier, we try to find ways to educate customers. And ultimately speaking, if you don't feel safe clicking on it, don't click on it.
Do you ever have someone, and I'm sure you do, where they call and say, I used to be able to see this video on YouTube, but now I can? I mean, is it simple? Is it something as simple as maybe they need to update a browser? I mean,
absolutely. One of the common problems that viruses can cause is it can go in and it can cause your computer to be redirected to other places on the internet to get its information. Once it does that, not only does it allow attackers to be able to monitor what you're doing and send you to websites that aren't legitimate, but it also allows the machine, or causes the machine, to be able to not access certain websites appropriately. In fact, I'll give you an example. Just recently we had some customers having an issue where a virus had infected their machine, and it had caused their machine to be redirected to one of these false servers, that whenever they tried to view Facebook, a very common program for people to use, they were unable to do that. It would not load. It just give them page cannot be displayed, and that's a frustrating thing for people to have to deal with. So, but once we figure out exactly what's happening, those things are pretty easy to go in and clean up. But when you don't know that it's happening, you just think your internet's not working or your computer's not working, and it's really just a virus that's caused your system to behave erratically. So.
Crazy stuff. So what's the process? Do they call you? Do they drop the computer off where do we take the computer?
Well, we've got a couple of ways that you can do it. You can bring it into our Conway office on 701, and one of our technicians will come down and they'll greet you and they'll fill out the paperwork with you, and you can talk to them about what's going on with the machine, let them know the type of behaviors that you've noticed, and they can, you know, judge from that pretty much what they think's going on with it. We can get it cleaned up from there. Typically, as I mentioned earlier, we got a 2-day turnaround on that, but we try to get it back considerably faster if we can. If you're not able to just bring it in, or if you have questions and you want to find out a little bit more about it before you do, feel free to call us at 369-8990, and we'll have one of our technicians talk to you, try to identify what's going on, and let you know the best course of action that we can take to get your problem resolved.
Well, they want you to have a pleasurable experience online because they're in the internet business as well. Our good friends at HTC. Thank you, buddy.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you coming by.
We appreciate you.
Jeffrey Thompson from HTC, helping us access the internet and be safe when we do it. Good stuff. We'll be right back with more River Talk after this.